Alatreon, the blazing black dragon, has finally arrived in the new world. Well, it arrived a couple days ago actually, and there's a lot of people struggling against it, and that's to be expected considering the fact that this is a black dragon. And we're gonna go through my personal approach regarding Alatreon, the blazing black dragon, so you have a better idea as to how this fight actually goes within the game. Now let's get to it. Hey everyone, Pinoyx here once again, back with another video for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Today we're going to be talking about my personal approach to fighting Alatreon, the blazing black dragon within Iceborne, so that you have a better idea as to what you need to expect when it comes to fighting this monster. So we're just going to go ahead and get straight to the main point first and foremost, which is how you avoid the Escaton Judgment supernova move when it comes to fighting this monster. So how do you survive Escaton Judgment in Iceborne in order to actually kill Alatreon? The answer might be plain and simple, but it can be pretty hard to pull off, especially if you don't prepare yourself properly. In order for you to weaken Escaton Judgment enough for you to heal through it, you need to make sure that you're dealing elemental damage to Alatreon in order for you to pass an elemental DPS check. This is the best way for me to describe how you can weaken Escaton Judgment enough in order for you to survive through it. Otherwise, Escaton Judgment will always be at its strongest and you will simply die. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, I should just bring any elemental weapon and it should be alright. And this could be the biggest mistake that you will make during the initial phase of the hunt. In order for you to effectively weaken the Escaton Judgment super move via passing the DPS check, you need to bring an elemental weapon that's the best against Alatreon during the initial phase of the hunt. So what do I mean by this exactly? Well, Alatreon goes through 3 actives in the game: Fire active, Dragon active, and Ice active. Now, Alatreon will either start with Fire or Ice active depending on the quest that you are starting with. If you're going through the special assignment or the event quest The Evening Star, then Alatreon will start with Fire active. However, if you're starting with the Dawn of the Death Star, then Alatreon will start with Ice active instead. So what you want to do here is you want to pay attention to the quest and you need to bring a weapon opposing whichever active element Alatreon starts with. So if you're starting with Fire active, bring an Ice-based elemental weapon. If you're starting with Ice active, bring a Fire-based elemental weapon. That's pretty much the best way I can describe as to how you suppress the elemental properties of Alatreon and get the weaker version of Escaton Judgment. When you deal enough DPS to Alatreon in terms of elemental DPS checks, eventually the handler will say you've done a great job of suppressing Alatreon's powers.
You're doing a good job containing Alatreon's power.
Once that cue kicks in, you have weakened Escaton Judgment and you can easily heal through it. So now that you know how to resist Escaton Judgment and you know what weapon to bring during the beginning of the hunt, what else do you need to know about this monster in order to effectively hunt it? In order for you to go through the Black Dragon really effectively, you want to break Alatreon's horns during the Dragon active phase. And the main reason you want to break the horns at this phase is, first and foremost, this is the only time that you can break them. You can't do it during Fire or Ice active. And second of all, when you break the horns of Alatreon during Dragon active, you actually reset the element back to the original element that you started with at the beginning of the hunt. I know it sounds a little bit complex, but here's a flowchart of how it actually works. Bearing in mind, this flowchart can only go through the original phase 3 times if you break the horn twice. So keep that in mind. Go break Alatreon's horns during the Dragon active and try to make sure that you're suppressing the elements of the monster in order to survive Escaton Judgment. Now, if you're doing this hunt solo, there may come a point where Alatreon can eventually transition into the exact same element as that of your weapon because you already broke the horn twice. If this happens, you won't be able to suppress the Escaton Judgment damage because of the fact that it's resistant to your elemental weapon. What you're gonna need to do here is you're gonna need to take the feint because of the fact that Alatreon will eventually transition back to the original element in which you can suppress the Alatreon's judgment. So keep that in mind if you're doing this solo. I highly recommend a feline safeguard at this point, just because you will need to take one feint just for safety measures. Now that's pretty much all the information that I have so far when you're going into the hunt against Alatreon the Blazing Black Dragon, regardless if you're soloing or if you're in a group. My personal tip for anyone out there who's going in a group is bring in either a fire or ice weapon, possibly a Kiar or Safi weapon, in order for you to basically cover all grounds when Alatreon goes into either fire or ice active. This allows you to mitigate the Escaton Judgment much more easily when you're going into the hunt as a group. However, if you are going to be going into this hunt solo, my biggest advice is bring the Shield Spire Stooge for your Palico so that Alatreon's aggro goes away from you so that you can deal a little bit more damage than usual in comparison to Alatreon's attention being all on you during the middle of the hunt. Unless you're speed running this thing, in which case don't bring your Palico, I highly advise the Shield Spire Stooge for this particular hunt because it gives you a lot of free time to actually attack Alatreon in order to mitigate all of the damage that it will do during Escaton Judgment. So that's pretty much all of the information that I can provide regarding hunting Alatreon, the Blazing Black Dragon, within Monster Hunter World Iceborne. And that is pretty much it for this video, taking a look at my personal approach when it comes to hunting down the Blazing Black Dragon throughout Iceborne, and just some personal tips that I've learned when it comes to this monster. Hopefully you've learned something here today. In order for you to get better at Alatreon the Blazing Black Dragon, I could tell you everything that I know about this monster, but at the end of the day, experience is gonna be the best teacher against this monster. If you have any information regarding the Blazing Black Dragon that you would like to share, please do let me know in the comments below what kind of information you have provided to other players in order for them to be effective against Alatreon within Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Now with all of that being said, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider leaving a like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel, as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any future Monster Hunter content that I might be doing or any other games that I might be playing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.